Welcome everybody to Real Wreckers,
where we are all things movie,
all things Stevie,
all things nerd.
Wait a minute.
Wait, wrong one, wrong world, wrong universe.
Yeah, we're in the wrong universe.
Wrong timeline.
Yeah, this is our theme song on Earth 84.
Yeah. What Earth are we right now?
I think we're like Earth 23.
Sorry,
we?
it's daylight. It's time light savings time. It's time savings time. I forgot to reset my clock.
Exactly.
It's not based on time. It's based on location in relative dimensions in space. In case you didn't know.
I see what you did there.
You see what I did there?
Yeah, Bill and Ted.
Wrong universe.
Oh yeah. So, in case none of you understand that joke, we have been exploring the multiverse. Yes. One of my personal favorite fictional,
but also kind of real
things. Kind of real. Very real, because we went there. We went through like a good, what would you say? A good 500? Good 500 universes.
Yeah, about like
500 universes over the past week.
About like a podcast series worth, you know.
Exactly. Hence, here we are today.
On which Earth again? Was it 20-something?
I think it was 23.
11. Last time I was on 11. That explains a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Numbers don't really work where I'm from.
I'm telling you, the other 22 universes behind us, they're weird. They're real weird.
To us. To them, we're weird.
Dude, do you not remember the one where the dogs ruled humanity?
I mean, on the flop side of our world, they kind of run everything, financially.
Yeah. But still, like, we're walking humans, man.
I mean,
it was weird. We were chased.
You go back 1,000 years, like 5,000 years on this planet, people are still praising their animals. Why do you think toy dogs exist? Pugs, Yorkies, not Yorkies, Shih Tzus. What are the those little dogs? They're called toy dogs because we praise and cherish them like royalty.
I was about to say Chihuahuas, but then you said that.
Chihuahuas were actually guard dogs.
Yeah, they seem like that.
Yeah, that's why, weirdly enough, they do actually. I feel like they're one of those animals, no matter what, like similar to honey badgers, where they emit a stink that keeps big animals afraid of them.
True. But I think, objectively, I would say that I think our favorite universe might be, or my favorite universe at least, might be Earth 42, where there was no coronavirus. We saw Marvel Phase 5.
Yeah, but too early, and then all like the cool stuff with the gap, and we had corrected sleep schedules. It didn't feel right. It felt like a fake, I kind of
liked it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, guys, wait till you see Blade. That's gonna be amazing when it comes out in this universe.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
I know. But
I actually didn't watch the OG Blade.
You never watched the OG Blade?
Not yet, at least. I might try to see it soon.
It's surprisingly very good.
It looks
surprisingly very good. The new version, not half bad.
Gives me the same vibes.
I think Mahershala Ali did a great job as Blade.
Gives me the same vibes as X-Men Wade Wilson. Just Wade Wilson when he's slicing bullets. That one scene where he's walking down and everyone's firing at him and he's literally doing like the lightsaber maneuver with them.
Yeah.
Is it like that, but just that stretched to a movie?
Like that vampire style. And
with Matrix seasoning, like Matrix seasoning.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. There's a ton of Matrix seasoning.
I'm just running based off of looks.
Like for you, what was your favorite universe that we went to?
Probably 817, where everyone had hands instead of feet, so all primates and apes, they all looked the same, and there wasn't some weird outlier.
Yeah, that was actually a really fun universe.
There was monkey bars everywhere.
Dude, everyone was climbing Mount Everest.
Everybody was kung fu fighting, I think, too. They didn't like that.
They didn't like it when we actually sang it. We started singing and everyone gave us looks.
It was the fake ID and the fake music experience. I didn't think they liked that. I thought it was just karaoke. Apparently karaoke means something totally different for them.
I did like Earth 42, but Earth 87 for me, the one where the Oscars were actually good and they actually had high ratings, that, for me personally, from a personal perspective, I really like that. I mean, I am sort of pissed that they chose No Way Home to be Best Picture over Zack Snyder's Justice League, but to be fair,
that whole movie was like set to never be finished, and then it happened.
But to be fair, Snyder did get Best Director and Ray Fisher did get Best Supporting Actor, so I think that's fair enough.
I was surprised at how much Warner Brothers actually like helped support and advertise the entire thing when it actually was finished, and they didn't step in too much at all, actually.
And I have to admit, the choice to have Mr. Beast host, at first, I was like really weirded out. But the more he hosted, I was like, yeah, this guy gets it.
When there was a giveaway at the end of his speech, I was like surprised, but also there's advertisements before and after everything we see anyway, so wasn't too shocked.
Very true. I mean, how many Fast and Furious movies won Best Picture before this year?
I think only 3 out of the 15 that released in that week. They released them in bursts instead of every year, too.
Yeah, it was weird. I loved it, but it was weird.
I think the Netflix motto of binge it all, wait a week, binge it all again, it works in other universes, apparently.
Yeah. But with that said, we are going to explore even more of our favorite universes, some of our Instagram followers' favorite universes, and we are going to explore their favorite universes based on the answers to the polls.
And also, we're probably just going to help explain a little bit
concerning multiverse, because it's you see it all the time in comic books, movies, TV shows. It's all nerd stuff.
It also sounds like a cop-out at first, but there's some good reasoning behind some of it, and there's a real-life aspect that helps assist it when it comes especially to the writing half, which you would know about.
Exactly. So, with that said, let's get into these polls where we asked you, lovely Instagram followers, some of the questions involving, such as, what is your favorite fictional what-if scenario? Example, what if Anakin won the duel between Obi-Wan?
What if?
We are going to ponder the question, what if?
What if?
What if? What's your favorite what if? What's your favorite what if scenario?
My favorite what if scenario? Ooh, that's actually a toughie. You might want to just make a single word prediction about what I'm going to say.
Godzilla?
That was my second one, actually.
Oh.
My number one was actually what if Jango Fett didn't get beheaded. Think about it, the big Mandalorian fight towards the end of Clone Wars.
That would be interesting. What if he won the fight over Mace Windu?
What if he got Maul? Like, what if he took Maul's throne at the time? Because he was a business genius.
What?
He actually was when it comes to working with the bad guys. He's killed Force users, so that was like my favorite.
My favorite what if scenario for fictional universe. That's actually a really interesting question, because every single time this happens, you always think, oh, what if the bad guy won? And I'm trying to think of something a bit more original than just what if, I don't know, what if Voldemort won? What if the Emperor killed Luke? Stuff like that. I'm trying to think of stuff outside of that realm.
While you think of that, my other one was also, ever since a Honest Game trailer in 2014 talking about Pacific Rim and Godzilla 2014. The whole thing about, it was, the epic voice guy?
Yes.
The whole little bit he made, it was like 10 seconds. It's like, yeah, so if Legendary owns Godzilla, King Kong, and Pacific Rim, please make a crossover where they fight, please. And I'm like, wait, that makes more and more sense with time, because they did this beautiful thing where they didn't tease and touch and try to, like, get you to chase a carrot on a stick for 10 years. They were like, okay, Godzilla's story. Okay, King Kong's story. You can see they fit the same place. I say science in a lot of writing can assist more sometimes when it comes to making something a little more pressing and sized than fantasy, because fantasy, I feel like you can scale it however you want. Mountains can be like 5 times as lengthy to travel across, but in like sci-fi, it's like, well, airplanes do exist, so we actually do have to get a good measure of what's where. Godzilla's from like the Pacific, King Kong's from the South Pacific, because Japan's like on the northern hemisphere. Am I correct?
It's on the
Tokyo. When Godzilla attacks Tokyo, it's on the northern hemisphere, and he also goes towards America more. So I'd say that's a nice juxtaposition of locations. So there's no reason for them to have interacted before.
I actually do think, Godzilla vs. Kong 2 is in the pre-production stage,
and we already had spoilers. Should I talk about spoilers for Godzilla vs. Kong?
It's been a year, and
Also-
it was one of the most. It was one of the biggest movies of last year. Let's face it.
And also, it's still good even if you know what happens, because you know what happens in a Godzilla movie every time. Like, it's not bad. It's like, oh yeah, well, he actually does destroy this. Like, well, I know he's a yeah. Anyway, they already had Mechagodzilla kind of have its run through. They already had Ghidorah. Sorry, they already had. It was a not. There's a name for each Ghidorah. This one's Legendary Ghidorah. Sorry. For that though. Well, where's your big bad now? You don't have your alien. You don't have your big robot who's got the brain of an alien. Well, how about, once you go past aliens, you go past space. You go into other space, other universe. The whole thing about Pacific Rim. Monsters from another universe. And a lot of these monsters, Hammerhead, Soft Face, the one who had literally what is it called? It's based on the fish, the swordfish, the giant swordfish. That and Hammerhead are actually characters in, Gamera?
Gamora.
Gamera.
Oh,
Not
no.
Gamora from Marvel. Gamera from Gamera. Like the giant turtle. Breathes fire.
Oh, yeah.
Similar to that,
I remember their death battle.
Jet Jaguar, Ultraman, those big properties that were costumed fighters. Like big dudes in suits duking it out on a prop city. Those monsters that we saw in Pacific Rim are technically part of Gamera's universe. Gamera is like a good guy exclusively. Godzilla is kind of like chaos neutral. Fights for Earth, quote unquote.
Chaotic neutral. Well, is it called chaotic?
Yes, chaotic.
It's called chaotic neutral.
Godzilla's chaotic neutral. Mostly fights not for people, not for monsters. Fights for Earth because, domain. So basically, I think they're going to set up, because Gamera is pretty... I think Gamera wouldn't be that hard for Legendary to buy. Who's going to make that movie?
And to be fair to your, Pacific Rim, what if for a Pacific Rim crossover with Godzilla and all that stuff, it wouldn't be a bad conclusion to come to, because the whole thing behind Mechagodzilla was that his brain was that the actual Ghidorah's brain
was too complex to be controlled by a human.
Was telepathically linked to a human to control Mechagodzilla. And the Jaegers in Pacific Rim, two people telepathically linked together and control the mech as one.
Arms and legs of the machine.
Exactly.
Which I say, when you fight in the pool and you have someone on your shoulders, you're the legs.
Yeah, isn't that called a chicken fight or something?
I think it's called chicken fight. Or I'm thinking of Game of Chicken. You run at each other and see whoever gets out of the way.
Exactly. I want to see
called?
It's called a chicken. It's called chicken. They're playing chicken.
Playing chicken? Okay. Yeah. But yeah,
I just love it whenever someone does that. Even in movies, I just love it when someone does that. But I always want to see, what if no one leaves?
And they just kind of smash. They just smash into each other.
I think that happened in Mission Impossible 2, where Ethan Hunt and the bad guy just were ramming into each other with motorcycles, and then eventually they just didn't decide to do chicken. They jumped off the motorcycle, and in midair they fought each other.
That happens in my favorite Godzilla movie too. One of the moves is the motorcycle smack. He hits the front brake on the front tire, and instead of sliding on the ground, it lifts up and smacks him out of the air. But yeah, that's my big what if is, also at the end of Godzilla vs. Kong, they kind of stooped with that Hollow Earth theory. Mm-hmm. They stooped into further in sci-fi territory. You have these hovercrafts that can bore straight down and can kind of they operate instead of rudder planes, like a Osprey. They don't have rudders now.
Yes.
They have
Osprey.
Yeah,
I love Ospreys. They're so cool.
The non-rudder ones, how jet engine, not a rudder. Mm-hmm. They're like that, where they just shoot straight down. They don't actually pick up air in front of them and shunt it behind it. Mm-hmm. The sci-fi ones that we saw, very similar to what Pacific Rim had. Pacific Rim 1, we don't really have to talk about Pacific Rim 2.
No.
That would play out great as an arena fighter game, but Pacific Rim 1 works by itself, I think.
Pacific Rim 2, to be fair, started out with a great idea. The war between the monsters and the Jaegers was over, so what happens? People start taking the Jaegers that were destroyed, fixing them, and then using them to their own criminal ends. That, in itself, is a great idea.
Yeah, I actually
But then-
want to adapt something like that. Even Kite Runner had that as a story.
But then
After-
halfway through, they said, "Oh, wait,
Sky Cam, big CG fight.
big CG fight between monsters."
Wait. In the first movie, you had like all these on the ground, realistic looking camera. Big sky fight. The camera is the size of the moon.
And Charlie Day's the villain now.
Charlie Day is an intimidating villain. No, come on. He's funny.
He's only intimidating if he's talking about Pepe Sylvia. We all know it.
But yeah, I think that is actually my favorite what if, is especially just because it is reasonable and it's pretty likely to happen by this point. They're just taking their time, which I like.
It all depends how long it takes for Legendary to run out of ideas, which they've already done Godzilla vs. Kong, so...
You still have a lot to work with. You don't realize how big Godzilla's roster is.
No, but at the same time, they're making a Godzilla show for, I think it's Apple TV. They're making a live-action show.
I don't have Apple TV, which means I gotta...
It might be Apple TV, it might be Paramount Plus, I don't know.
I have to go about reasonable means.
Reasonable means.
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just not buying Apple TV.
Yeah.
Because I don't... Do you need an Apple TV to get Apple TV, or is Apple TV just like a streaming channel?
I think it's only for Apple.
That would be really narrow and stupid if it was only on Apple brand TVs.
Especially I don't think there's that many like big shows or movies on Apple TV. Well, scratch that.
There's
all of the
some.
Charlie Brown specials are on Apple TV and exclusively only on Apple TV.
Well, live TV. I think we also get like marathon specials. No? What are you talking about? We get
live
great
TV. They removed all Charlie Brown specials so that only Apple TV can specifically have them.
Evil.
They are evil for that.
That is evil.
That's almost as evil as when Disney Disney canceled all the Netflix shows, all the Marvel Netflix shows, only to bring them back on Disney Plus.
That's just rude. They're evil, but that instance wasn't quite as evil as Apple TV's exclusives not being.
I would
available
argue that a
anywhere.
lot of Disney is evil.
Oh yeah, I'm saying Disney is evil. That instance, it's not the strongest piece of evidence. I could pull up like other things.
Oh, definitely.
Especially like
historically, we can come up with more.
And currently, like the same. They punch the same way. Just depends where they're punching.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
My favorite fictional what if scenario. I think.
I got a good Disney what if. Another Disney what if. What if Disney didn't have the evil history that they had? The same what if.
A real life what if. I think
Walt Disney has.
We didn't get to that point in the multiverse. That's I think that's in the Earth 2000s.
This is theoretical.
Exactly. I think my favorite fictional what if, going back to Star Wars, since that was one of your favorites. I think,
of course.
I think one of my favorite fictional what ifs is what if Ahsoka stayed in the Jedi Order.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Especially, like I'm saying, those contingency moments, the Battle of Mandalore, Siege of the Jedi, Order 66, like that.
Most of that is because she left the Order.
Like especially all of Obi-Wan's like people he cares about passing, like he lost everyone till the end. We don't know if he ever saw Ahsoka again for years, which I assume he didn't because Ahsoka didn't know where he went.
Exactly.
Like
Ahsoka fully thought he was dead.
Mm-hmm. And he fully thought he would never see Ahsoka again.
Yeah.
But yeah, for all those flipping points, because Ahsoka is a big like underlying. This is like the giant thing that we didn't get to see in the movies, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But her like involvement actually kind of absolves a lot of issues. So to see when you flip that, okay, if she stayed,
then they would have made her a knight. They were going to make her a knight if she stayed. And also, there would have been, like, more of a reason for Anakin to stay in the Order because he has grown such an attachment to Ahsoka as, like, a little sister.
Mm-hmm. Like, him not feeling like he can be responsible for someone was probably his last point of, all right, I can't save anyone, I guess. If she was there, she could have like comforted him through that much grief.
And I do feel like if Ahsoka stayed and if everything went down like Order 66 happened and she survived, I do feel like it would have been her going to Mustafar while Obi-Wan and Yoda handled Sidious.
I think, was Ventress dead by this point?
Yeah, Ventress was dead.
I was gonna say, I feel like someone would tempt Ahsoka instead. I feel like she would be the one. She wouldn't like go straight up Kaiser or Crimson Red lightsaber, obviously. Yeah. She would just be a radical force to completely level a lot of, like, Order 66 wouldn't have been as successful.
I feel like Yoda...
She would have killed Palpatine, I say.
I don't think she could have. Because she lost to Maul. And Maul lost to Sidious.
Now, I'd say that is a strength triangle that is weirdly unfair because Obi-Wan would not be able to beat Sidious, but he would be able to beat Maul every time.
I feel like he could outlast Maul because Maul would just keep going and going and going and going and going. I think
without thinking.
I think Palpatine would have more of a strategy in mind.
Yes. And Palpatine can literally do anything. Like with he's literally offensive, defensive, and
I mean when we say he can do anything, we mean anything as in somehow Palpatine returned.
It was his son. Well, his son who he stole his consciousness from and manifested his body into. It's not actually that absurd when you think about it. Vader was literally like a burnt marshmallow that got put into a Dalek. He was closer to a Dalek than a person by this point. Literally a little scarab of meat shoved into a giant shell of a machine. Oh, wait.
Now I just want Obi-Wan to say, he's more Dalek now than man.
There's more Dalek than... Well, I guess it would be...
James Earl Jones screaming, exterminate.
That sounds awesome. I want to get a voice AI and do that.
Yes.
I could actually try to do that. I might try to include that, actually. That'd be really cool.
When the 14th Doctor is announced, we will do another Doctor Who episode, and we will have that soundbite.
I thought Time Lords only had 13 lives.
They do, but Stephen Moffat gave the Doctor an entirely new regeneration cycle.
I mean,
so technically, Peter Capaldi was the 12th Doctor, but he was also the 14th Doctor, but he was also the first Doctor.
Hey, remember how everyone said, even if it's not Back to the Future type of, go back, rewind, undo event becomes your rewind moment? That's that's straight line time travel, which is like the first fictional time travel, because we assumed, if I go back in time and I get rid of this person, it's going to cause a ripple in my timeline because we didn't think about it. My multiverse by that point, string theory wasn't a thing.
And then I'll talk about string theory in a second. And then Endgame just screwed all that up and just confused everyone.
Well, also written categories. Have you seen the map of the DC multiverse? So it works in directions. It is not up and down or just left to right. Like, it's not go back in time. The event carries on to where I went, where I stopped, or where I went back. For multiverse now, I go back, I change this event. It splits off, not with my timeline. If I go back, it's going to go back to my timeline. But this other one that I created, I would literally have to cross that little point.
Or, as a wise man once said, people assume time is a strict progression from cause to effect. But actually, when you look at it from a non-linear, non-subjective viewpoint, it's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
In physics, string theory is the theoretical framework in which the point-like particles of particle physics are replaced by one-dimensional objects called strings. String theory describes how these strings propagate through space and interact with each other. On distance scales larger than string scale, a string looks like an ordinary particle with its mass, charge, and other properties determined by the vibrational state of the string. In string theory, one of the many vibrational states of the string corresponds to graviton, the quantum mechanical particle that carries the gravitational force. Thus, string theory is a theory of quantum gravity carrying across multiple realities. Why'd you pull the picture of Sheldon?
Because in Big Bang Theory, that's like his big thing.
I'm reading off a wiki.
Yeah, but that's like his big thing, and that's... I hate the fact that my mind, immediately when you started rambling on about string theory, my mind went to Sheldon Cooper.
Now, in written string theory, like for writers, for telling an actually really good story, it is a useful tool for, deciding the contingency event that conflicts with the outcome of what I already established. I can actually provide, it provides more context for characters. Like, well, if he was actually born outside of this consequential atmosphere, if he was just born one town over, how much does that drastically affect his outlook? How does that affect his decisions? Or if he didn't lose someone, if he didn't get something.
You have no idea how many times I have just been bored, alone, nothing to do, just thinking about my past and thinking about the possible what ifs. Like what if instead of moving from Florida to Pennsylvania when I was like 6 or something, I stayed in Florida? What would happen then? Like that's the sort of stuff where my mind goes, so many infinite possibilities.
It's maddening. It's
a multiverse of madness. Tickets on sale now.
Yeah. So, the largest written text in history, human history? You know what it is? It's a multiverse story. I'll tell you that.
Okay, I'm listening.
It is a Super Smash Bros. Fan fiction.
What?
Not like a weird internet.
No, yeah, no.
It's
there's a difference between fan fiction and fan fiction.
And turn my mic off. Yeah, you know that. All I said was fan fiction, but I whispered it. Yeah, the longest written piece of media in history. Longest written media.
The longest written source of media in history.
In human history, at least. You know, we still have a chimpanzee AI.
Who knows what the T-Rexes wrote down?
They had calligraphers for a reason. But yeah, I think that's one of the longest pieces of written media in history.
How long? How many pages?
I'm actually looking that up now. Longest piece. But yeah, technically, Super Smash Bros. is a big multiverse story.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it literally carries across multiple properties outside of Nintendo's, obviously. Longest piece of written fiction in history. Just trying to narrow it down. Fiction in. Did you ever decide what your favorite was? By the way, I feel like
my favorite. Yeah, I said Ahsoka.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
I said, what if Ahsoka stayed in the Jedi Order?
At about 3,400,000 words.
Jesus Christ!
Spirit of Redemption is the longest complete work of fiction ever written. Oh yeah, it finished in 2018. Actually, that's a little more recent than I thought.
Who wrote that?
Written almost 6 times as long as War and Peace, and about 1,400,000 words longer than Men of Goodwill, the longest ever written, according to Wikipedia. According to TV tropes, the other fan fictions are longer, but are all incomplete, making Spirit of Redemption the longest complete work, and it was written in less than 2 years.
Who wrote that?
I'm trying to find out. I want to see.
Because whoever it is, I feel sorry for them. Their hands are going to have carpal tunnel in 2 years.
Well, what do you do when you don't feel like writing?
Talk to text.
Exactly. So imagine this dude rambling for however long.
Oh, then his vocal cords are done.
I feel like lockdown probably assisted with finishing that, honestly. Like all that little free time.
I mean, yeah, but wasn't it finished in 2018 before lockdown?
I think that's when it started. So
no, lockdown started.
No, I'm saying I think he was writing it up until, and then it was posted. This chain was updated. It was uploaded in 2018. It wasn't finished, and I think it got finished recently. So whoever it was writing this. I want to know who is the college junior behind the longest fan fiction.
College junior.
Christian is a 21-year-old college junior lives in Arizona, studies computer science, of course.
Christian from Arizona, we shout out you. You deserve, from one writer to another, you deserve all the respect in the world.
And also, along with that, the Subspace Emissary, which that was the storyline of Brawl. It's one of my favorite storylines in a fighting game ever. I think it is my favorite.
Only Super Smash Brothers game I've ever played.
Brawl for the Wii?
Yeah.
To me, that's my favorite, honestly. Everyone says Melee. That's the only one I haven't played.
I think that's the most iconic.
Yes. It is the most toxic fan-based. I say the N64 one. You know how punches sometimes feel like you're punching cardboard?
Punches feel like you're punching
like
cardboard?
In games and stuff, you get like the super...
Oh, then no.
I was saying you get like the Superman effect where like a punch doesn't feel as intense because it just kind of feels like a little slap. For the N64 one, everything felt like an actual hit in that. So you like flew across and everything, and it was much faster than all the other games.
You punched someone in the game, and you look at your knuckles, and they're bruised.
And then my TV shatters. It's really annoying. I have to keep buying new ones.
Yeah.
I just found out there's no haptic. There's no haptic for the N64. It turns out I've just been punching a screen for a while.
Exactly.
That could actually cause a small explosion too, or implosion, I guess. Tube TVs.
Yeah.
Someone explained to me like 2 days ago, talking about the tubes in a tube TV, like the big things that produce sound.
They're explosive.
They are vacuum sealed chambers that contain electronic vacuum chambers. I forget if it's for sound. I think it's a big amp in the back of the TV. Some tube TVs runs that display from a tube inside of it.
Yeah.
They actually can have higher display qualities than some flat screens. Just because of their per pixel count and the fact that the screen is not mesh. Also, plasma TVs, despite how fragile they were, they are still one of the most apex refresh display screens besides computer monitors. I just know a couple things about screens now. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But the longest spare time, he writes, the longest work of fan fiction ever composed, the Subspace Emissaries World Conquest, is currently this is the last update, over 3,500,000 words, making it almost 3 times as long as Marcel Proust's 7-volume à la recherche du temps perdu, à la recherche du temps perdu, 6 times as long as Infinite Jest and 13 times as long as Ulysses TSEW, which is based...
Yeah, but how long is it compared to Goodnight Moon?
How many words? Sorry, we gotta know how many words. Oh, I forgot to do my Wordle today. How many words is what was it?
Goodnight Moon.
Is Good Night Moon. Good Night Moon is 131 words in the book.
All right, so how long?
20 of them, good night.
So how many words is the fan fiction?
From the last update, 3,500,000.
All right, so a little bit behind. Good Night Moon's a little bit behind.
What? The children's book?
Yes. Did you not realize that when I joked about that?
No, honestly,
one of the most famous children's books ever.
Chicka Chicka Boom Boom would like to have a word with your...
That's why I said one of.
Yeah.
That's why I said one of.
Mm-hmm. Hungry Hungry Caterpillar, Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, anything by Dr. Seuss.
That's why I said one of.
The theoretical poet. Think about it. Bro has his own movie, Multiverse.
True.
A Dr. Seuss what if he wasn't racist?
Actually, speaking of which, I didn't put this in the Instagram, but I thought it was an interesting... What's your favorite fictional multiverse?
My favorite fictional multiverse specifically?
Yeah.
Honestly, right now, it's still the Legendary Monarch multiverse, because it's technically a connected one at this point still.
So the Godzilla, the Kong, the Pacific Rim.
Yeah, still. Either that or the Toho Godzilla multiverse, because that actually had multiple outcomes.
I do like what Marvel is doing with their universe, like with their multiverse. Like this whole new saga of the MCU is just expanding a multiverse, and I love that idea. But I'm still gonna have to go with DC.
Yeah,
I loved DC's multiverse. It's so good.
Written DC beats Marvel, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Injustice.
Yeah, you can't.
The whole Injustice storyline is in my opinion, my favorite DC comic storyline of all time.
Yeah,
I
DC
love it.
will always be best with their original written events, no matter how big or small, or just how conflicting all the how conflicting conflicts are, how interlaced all their conflicts are, and how they can function by themselves still as characters. Marvel can't do that. It always has to lead to a team up, and the solo stories for a lot, especially for the MCU, you can't do we have to save the planet. I know you're not going to destroy the planet. You're never going to do what Infinity War did, where you almost actually destroyed the planet, or, the cost of lives at that point was very groundbreaking. For all these backstories, you can't run with the Earth is under threat. Eternals was the last time you could ever do that. because it's in a, galactic level, still on Earth. So I hope more of these stories focus on what Shang-Chi had, where it was...
Like personal stories.
Yes, because when you write them that well, you don't have to have a big set piece to impress me. You can impress me by drawing out my emotions and making me feel for someone who's... if you want to put their world at threat, put their world at threat. Don't just say the planet's under a big... I know the planet's going to be fine. So put his character under a threat.
I think the best example of film DC multiverse is the very underrated, super underrated DC animated universe, the movies, the new movies. Like, I think like they're based on the New 52 era stuff. I think that's like the best multiverse out there because you have your standard universe where it is the DCAU and it includes like all the stuff like Justice League War, Batman versus Robin, Apocalypse War, all that sort of stuff. But along with that, you also have your interconnected multiverse stuff like Batman Gotham by Gaslight, which is where it all takes place in the past and Batman is actually taking on Jack the Ripper. And you got your
the Jack the Ripper.
The Jack the Ripper, and you got your Batman Ninja, where it's actually set in like feudal Japan.
I wanted to see that. I saw the trailers for that years ago, and I forgot to engage in it. I feel like it was probably on a streaming service I didn't have at that point.
Yeah,
or I wasn't watching TV.
Yeah, and you even officially part of the DC animated universe multiverse, Teen Titans Go, which
confirmed itself when they literally interacted with the Teen Titans.
Yes, and in that movie, there was an actual movie. It wasn't released in theaters for some reason, even though it actually wasn't half bad. To be fair, Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go, at the very end, there is a whole Avengers Endgame thing where every single Teen Titans from the multiverse comes into one universe to fight the big bad villain Trigon, including the Teen Titans from the DC Animated Universe movies.
Like not the Teen Titans show, Titans from...
Not just the Teen Titans, just the Teen Titans Go, but the actual the actual Teen Titans from the DC Animated Universe, including, well, I don't know if Damian Wayne was in there, but Dick Grayson was always there.
Dick Grayson's always there.
Let's be honest. But no, and it was actually really cool, and it was all of their animation styles. They're all their different animation styles. And it was actually really cool, and it doesn't
have to feel like a cop-out. I was going to say, you don't have to make it a cop-out. You can make it an interesting conflict.
Oh, you mean what the DCEU is doing right now?
That's what they've been doing, dude. New 52
They have no idea what they're doing.
People will hate on New 52 for how it was very astray from formula. Of course, they're going to go back to formula, obviously. Back to formula! Did I show you the ravioli clip of that?
Yes.
Ravioli. Ravioli.
Just seeing you do that, just like with nothing.
When he just like grabs him by the throat and they add the effect, just like ravioli, and then throws him.
No, just seeing you do that while holding nothing.
I'm strangling nothing. Oh, someone just walked by and saw me do that. But God. I can't hold on. But yeah, for DC, they make it provocative and interesting. Especially New 52 did that. And then what was after New 52? Rebirth?
I think it was Rebirth.
But yeah. And you can always Flashpoint it because Flashpoint can be a constant.
That's literally what Apocalypse War did. At the end of the DCAU's run, they Flashpointed it when everyone was dead.
You can Darkseid it, you can Brainiac it, you can Flashpoint it, and you can Trigon it. It's almost like these characters serve as characters who you can look into their dichotomy, but you also can just enjoy them as a force, not a person. You know what Marvel really struggles to do? One, have a villain who is provocative, interesting, and serves as a character and a force.
Thanos!
The only one who served all of those, and that's why he's the most memorable by this point, Ultron had character. He didn't really have... He had a threat, but, like, he was always standing. He wasn't really, imposing. Thanos was imposing when he stood, when he walked, when he sat. You can't imagine Ultron on a throne. You can't. He's always standing.
He was literally on a throne, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the same effect. Loki literally looks... He's a child. Every time we see him, he is literally a man-child trying to make some big claim. Nope. Ego also. His lack of Killmonger didn't have the
Wenwu?
size. Wenwu is I'd say Wenwu is like the next best thing. Who just was underappreciated once he copped out, and we got a big fight at the end instead of some sort of
Kang?
emotional.
What about Kang?
Kang the Conqueror?
Yeah. I mean, we saw him in Loki, and let's be honest. I'm sorry. Hot take: he's the best thing to come out of Loki.
Oh yeah.
He's so good.
Besides the other Lokis, obviously, which I say that is the coolest thing ever to see classic Loki. I think that was the coolest part, honestly.
Glorious purpose!
I don't know that if we followed him for one episode, I wouldn't be mad.
I would have loved to have seen like each episode we follow a different Loki. Like, oh well, what I just described was what If did.
Yeah, but I know what you mean though. Like the Lokis that we saw Loki, I would love to see. Sorry, I had to do that.
I want to know more about President Loki. I want to know more. I want to know Alligator Loki.
I was gonna say Gator Loki's got probably the most depth. Let's be honest.
Absolutely. I mean, he's literally in all the swamps. That's so much depth.
Man, but yeah, following things like that, especially alterations to a character, that sounds amazing. And the only thing that did that for the longest time before any kind of movie really was time travel events, shows, whatever, and games technically do that because every time you respawn or die in it,
Yeah.
that's technically a branch.
You restart and then learn.
The universe where the main character stood in a corner for 1,500 hours because whoever's controlling his brain forgot to log out or forgot to close the game, so he's just standing there staring at a random NPC for 5 hours. It's like, when the game's paused, you know the time keeps going. Yeah.
So with all that said, let's move on to. I mean, we're what? Three quarters of the way through this hour. Let's move on to our second poll.
We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, the multiverse is very interesting. There is a lot to talk about. There is a lot to discuss. There's a lot to theorize. There's just so much to talk about. It's such a good concept.
And it's not a cop-out.
It's not a cop-out, and it's semi-real.
Yeah.
So with that said, let's move on to our second poll. What is your favorite television show or film that was almost made?
Ooh.
I'm calling it now. I'm taking this. Duel of the Fates, episode 9. I'm taking it.
Reading the script
Was amazing. It's actually so good.
The maladaptive daydreaming that those words made. You know when reading something really does actually turn on the projector in your mind.
Yes, this is why I like making and reading scripts. Books and novels.
This is why I like listening to loud music and imagining things.
Which is literally my script writing process.
As I said, for me, I guess that's just my concept process.
But dude, like, it doesn't retcon anything, and it makes Last Jedi and Force Awakens feel important, like this was what it was building to.
I knew with time I would forgive Last Jedi. Our English or your English and both of our TV teacher in high school.
Our film teacher.
Well, for me, he was TV more.
For me, it was Stevie because I never took him for English.
I never took him for English or
Shout out
film.
to Mr. Burchick.
Shout out to Mr. Burchick. I think we can call him Drew now because we're both over 18.
It feels weird calling him Drew. I feel like I'm
Mr. Burchick.
It feels like I'm still going to get detention for calling him Drew.
Or like he's not going to like talk to me for 15 minutes now because I called him that or something.
Yeah.
I think the other thing he had was like, I won't call on you during class if you have something interesting to say.
I specifically asked for Infinity War spoilers when he said that he saw the synopsis. And he told me semi-wrong things.
That's good.
Most of it was true, but from a certain point of view.
I'm glad. I appreciate that. Even if you say, give me the truth about this, if he puts a bunch of red herrings in, it makes you still enjoy it because you're going to be looking for stuff.
Exactly. Like
it gets you to actually focus more than you were going to initially.
Like the whole thing behind Infinity War that he told me, the ending was that the only two people left was Tony and Nebula, and that was semi-true. The only two people left on Titan at the end of Infinity War was Tony and Nebula.
Which you just assumed, oh, that's probably who we're just gonna see last, or this is
Exactly. That's
they're
the only
gonna
people
meet.
who are going to survive. Period.
With this narrow sentence, you can imagine. Oh, so they're gonna meet the Guardians. That's cool. Well, she's not a Guardian, but they're gonna interact somehow. That's awesome. So we're finally gonna see like lines get blurred and then meet. Didn't expect it to play out.
Yeah.
How it did.
Yeah.
We're having PTSD right now.
Yeah.
I think you were way more broken than I was.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I was broken.
I was bawling my eyes out for a solid half hour, maybe an hour. I can't remember because my eyes were just watering.
Yeah, I just kind of had my head down. I couldn't blink. Like my eye, if I tried to move my eyes, it felt weird. It was like pins and needles.
Throughout half of the end credits, I was just in complete shock, and then the last half, I was bawling my eyes out, and then I kept going for so long.
I think what also had me like going close to that was it just lost me. I'm thinking No Way Home, I think, got me to the same extreme in the opposite direction.
Well,
like hysteria.
I'm going to say spoilers because it is on Blu-ray now. So,
yeah.
So if they went all the way and actually killed Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, that would have made me bawl my eyes out.
Oh yeah, there's not a big gap between when Andrew Garfield rips his mask off and when we see that scene. If they did that, I would actually probably start hyperventilating. I started almost hyperventilating and then I calmed down because everyone else around me kind of calmed down for the most part, you know. That would have broken me beyond words, I think. I don't know how to describe it with detail.
I mean, the death of Aunt May was heartbreaking. The possible death of MJ would have been heartbreaking. Tobey Maguire's death would have been devastating.
It probably would have like review bombed the movie. Honestly, like people would have like.
Oh, it would have Eternals the movie.
Yeah.
Because Eternals had one gay kiss, and everyone review bombed it before they even saw it because that was the only thing they knew for certain that was going to happen in it.
You serious?
Yeah, that was the reason. Like there was before the movie even came out, there was 38% on Rotten Tomatoes for it, and that was the big reason because there was a gay kiss in the movie.
Wow. I imagine that was like a bot review spam for that too, because I feel like you can't get enough people to like actually go up with that.
It's kind of like when Captain Marvel officially got like all of their what was it? The floodgates opened for Captain Marvel in terms of Rotten Tomatoes reviews, and it just got bombed because Captain Marvel was a woman.
Hey, I don't understand that still. Like Brie Larson was a very loved actor. She still is. I feel like something about Captain Marvel. It was 2018 or 2017.
I think it was 20.
Was it 2019?
I think it was 20. Yeah, it was 2019.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it came out right before Endgame.
It wasn't. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I treated it like a Dragon Ball style movie by that point, just reverted or inverted.
I liked it. I think the big reason was that Brie Larson was being taken out of context so many times that she grew this whole air of toxic feminism around her.
And also toxic anti-feminism, where any sort of positivity that she tried to spread in like interviews and stuff literally got like clipped out of context, and then like some like incel on the internet was just like doing the weird voiceover videos they do where they literally just like take a single clip and they will talk for 40 minutes about nothing. Like make up a situation and get mad at it. Like the epitome of the internet, make up a scenario and get mad at it.
Yeah.
Or make a fictional enemy and get mad at it in real life. I think they pretty much just did that to that movie.
Yeah, it was harsh. Captain Marvel wasn't that bad. Eternals wasn't that bad.
Now I'm thinking also with everything you described about what was it when you were given red herrings for Infinity War?
Yep.
And you were looking for it and you weren't disappointed because a lot of the things were still there. Mm-hmm. Remember our disappointment in the big parts of Morbius where we were like, okay, you teased. Can I talk about this? I'm not going to go into detail.
We'll
Too
say the
soon?
spoiler.
Too
we'll,
hot?
We'll say the spoilers so that we can let it out.
I'm still not going to say things specific.
But just in case you do, it's best to give the spoiler warnings.
5 spoilers.
4
spoilers.
3
Spoilers.
2
You guys get it.
1.
Spoilers. In Morbius, the things that were teased, leaked on purpose. Let's be honest, Sony likes to leak things more on purpose than anyone else because it's part of their hype train.
Well, I don't know.
When they actually...
Disney leaked a lot for No Way Home so that they could actually advertise the movie.
But Sony didn't know how to advertise because all of the things that you teased, especially in the trailers, like the really good ones that people were really excited about, especially running off of the heels of... It's a Spider-Man villain movie. Running off of the heels of a Spider-Man event, along with Sony teasing Across the Spider-Verse. Mm-hmm. How did you not live up to anything and be so mediocre by yourself? The movie itself, not bad. Like, it got review bombs.
It got review bombs so harshly. It has, like, what is it?
30?
A 16%, I think.
That is unfair.
I'm going right now. Morbius, Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes. That is a 17%.
That's worse. It was 30 when we started.
And a 70% for audiences, which is way more reasonable.
I give it a 65. It's above failure.
I give it a 60.
I give it a 65 because I thought it was actually really pretty.
Oh,
not the. We
I
saw
thought
it
it was
fly in the trailer.
suitably dark.
Yes, it wasn't obnoxiously.
And also, Matt Smith was amazing.
Matt Smith carried. Jared Leto.
He had so much fun.
Jared Leto didn't have a bad moment acting.
He was actually pretty good in the movie.
I feel like he was given a good thing to work with and build off of, and him and Matt Smith were able to run a lot of their own spins with the script. But the movie didn't know how to carry itself because it was trying to ride off of something with no fuel, like just running on fumes, and having only to show for itself good acting, good lighting. That intro was amazing. I like those. I like that like motion
and
look.
Cool looking powers. Not the most unique, but the way that they're filmed make them feel like unique.
The jump scares weren't excessive at all.
It felt like a monster movie. In the first half, it felt like a monster movie.
Not really shaky cam, but when there was shaky cam, it was literally because the environment was so closed and he was fast enough that I could track him, but he didn't look like he was floating. It's good. It had really good parts of it. And
when the movie wanted to go for scary and suspenseful, it did it well.
Without being a bromance that was advertised as a horror. It was advertised as a horror, and it played out like a drama horror, like a vampire drama.
And the best thing I can say about Morbius is that if you're sick of the classic Marvel overly comedic dialogue that you even see in the Venom movies,
that sounded cooler in my head. Moments like that.
Exactly. Morbius is the way to go. It doesn't overdo it with the comedy. It has its moments, sure, but it doesn't overdo it. It lets the emotional, dark moments sink in.
Marvel fans, when the presidential speech doesn't have like some sort of random 70s TV reference in it or something. I'm trying to think, what's like...
I mean, Donald Trump's inauguration speech literally had a reference to Bane.
That's more like sitcom, though. That's more like Simpsons prediction stuff.
It back to you, the people.
I think... Actually, no, I was going to say Marvel can also do Simpsons prediction jokes.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they own Fox. So, yeah, just stuff like that. That's a cop-out. When you try to do little quips like that, the disappointment that you had for Venom was not here.
No, not in the slightest.
The things that you wanted from Venom are in this, which deducts more from Venom than it does push this movie up or lift it up.
Yes.
But it doesn't solve the problems that it has trying to be something else. It could have been its own isolated thing of what Venom was supposed to. This is what Venom was supposed to be to a point. Yeah. Instead of a scientist, obviously. Like
Venom was supposed to be the story of an anti-hero.
Who's like, I am kind of a monster. But don't joke about it immediately after you say that. It's, I am a monster. Okay, I'm going to go for it. Not, wow, that sounded cooler in my head. Like, instead of saying, I think I'm a monster...
Don't make Venom the genie from Aladdin.
Yeah.
They made Venom the genie from Aladdin. Let's face it.
Especially like when he pops out, it's literally like the genie effect too. You're right. The slime genie.
Yeah. Venom is no longer scary because of the Venom movies.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a devil on your shoulder who can like say creepy stuff, but not too. If it's funny, you know, like when the slasher, the monster is like laughing as he's about to slash someone in the movie, not like the guy making a stupid little joke after he watches someone get their head bit off.
Venom is supposed to be the devil on your shoulder to the point where the person who he's on the shoulders of gets exhausted of him emotionally, physically, and just can't take it anymore. Venom is supposed to be the equivalent of a drug addiction.
A violent one too.
A violent one that hurts other people.
Because it's like the demon in your head telling you to do horrible things to get what you want, whether it's your career, the people you care about, the law. That's why he's such a good anti-hero. How did you mess up adapting this to the point where it is so funny and laughable that you were already planned to be a big multiverse team up and you were trying to ride on that? That is annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so much to talk about, even for singular things like that, when they try to multiverse themselves instead of setting themselves up where they stand on their own and leave room for something to happen. Don't tease at the end. You can end like at a cliffhanger climax. You can end somber. You can do your little, you're really weak. Oh, everything's fine. I'm sitting at the edge of the bay. Everything's okay now. We lost one person who we don't care about because they were written not to be cared about too much. Like cop-out endings like that where everything's kind of safe. I don't like that. I like the idea of like there's still something lingering, which, okay, that means time still goes on. It's not I settled down and everything's fine forever until something else happens. I don't know. Stuff like that.
And did you know that... And did you see all of the articles written that half of everything that was in the advertising and even in the movie of Morbius was the director knew nothing about? The director knew nothing about. Kevin Feige was not involved. It was just Sony trying to make themselves more important than they actually were.
That sounds like an inverted version of how Suicide Squad tried to get the trailer editors to add the excitement of a trailer to stretch it out to 2 hours, and it was choppy and inconsistent. The opposite, Sony trying to take something stretched out that you're supposed to tease bit by bit and get people excited for, they straight up dropped mini little virality bombs for the internet, and then gave us nothing of what they were teasing. Like they conned us. That's a con.
I mean, you remember that whole bit in the trailer where Morbius is walking in an alleyway and you see on one of the walls there is a painting of Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire specifically?
Not in the movie.
So we are just going to delve into that?
Yeah. Well, it's not really a spoiler because it's just not in the movie.
We're not telling you anything that's going to be in the movie.
We're telling you what's not in the movie.
We're telling you what you see in the trailers and what you're not going to see in this movie.
For example, most of the hype behind Vulture in the movie? No.
Most of the hype behind Michael Keaton's character.
We all knew he was Vulture.
Did we? I actually thought, because
Why would you think that?
Because we have variants. You can have, same face, different universe, different thing. Where's the face of someone you know?
We're definitely going to go into less. We've already set the spoiler countdown, but maybe the Vulture that we saw at the end of Morbius was a variant of the one we saw in the MCU.
But we literally saw him get transported and talk about his prison sentence. What did he go to prison for in this universe? Unless that confirms that there's a Spider-Man in that universe, because there has to be, because he talked about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So and also he
Spider-Man. Are you talking about in Morbius?
In Morbius,
he never said anything about Spider-Man. There was no mention of Spider-Man in the slightest.
Yes, he did.
Nope. There was only mention of something that happened in San Francisco, which was Venom. Mm-hmm. But that's it.
The wings of his suit were the what's the tower called?
Oscorp.
Oscorp. I wanted to say that.
Nope.
I want to see pictures.
Nope. It's been confirmed by the directors. That is not the same.
Clearly, the director doesn't have as much input because his marketing and editors decide to put weird little cop-out teases.
It's been confirmed. The wings are not the same.
I don't believe confirmations anymore because of this, because of leaks, because of false advertising. This whole it's official. The same reason we say, well, for No Way Home, nothing's official about Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire because they officially said, oh, I'm not in it. And they were both in it. Like, come on. They're lying to you. You kind of know they are.
I just love...
And sometimes
Andrew Garfield recently got interviewed about Amazing Spider-Man 3, and his response was, no one's going to believe anything I have to say anymore. Mm-hmm. He didn't say yes or no. He just said, no one's going to believe anything I say anymore.
Exactly, because you can go any direction with this. You can have you can have your written universe where Spider-Man 3 does happen, and we see it happen.
Can we just say that Andrew Garfield's so cool?
Andrew Garfield is so cool.
He's almost 40, and he has the face of an early 20-year-old.
Yeah. There's like a couple actors that actually suffer.
There's none like that much, though.
I can actually name a few. There is actually a disease. I forget what it's called.
Oh no, I'm talking about the famous actors like
Matt Damon.
No, Matt Damon looks like a dad. He has a dad vibe.
Will Smith.
That's hot.
That's hot.
That's hot.
Fortnite.
That's hot.
That's hot. Keep my Fortnite name out your Fortnite mouth. I need to make that a sound. I'm gonna add that to the soundboard. Funny. Adam Driver.
Adam Driver. Oh my God.
His face didn't age. Robert Downey Jr. His hair went browner instead of gray.
It did. It was weird.
It actually.
I thought it was weird when I saw that in Endgame. I was like, did he die?
Who plays MCU Aunt May? What's her name? MCU Aunt May's actress.
Marissa Tomei, I think it is.
Marissa Tomei didn't really age. I'm just going down my list. Benedict Cumberbatch, he just has a beard now. He wasn't able to grow a beard until he was like 40. I'm going down my list.
While we're on the subject of Doctor Strange and people who don't age, Doctor Strange's love interest. I forget her actual name.
Her actress's name or her name?
Her actress's name.
Strange.
Christine's actress is
Rachel McAdams. Jinx.
Damn it. Rachel McAdams. She doesn't age. She was literally cast in what's it? Let's
look at Rachel.
No, the movie
Rachel
Mean Girls. She was literally cast in Mean Girls when she was like 30.
Whoa, I'm looking at pictures now. She actually didn't really age at all. She got older. She didn't age, though. You know what I mean?
She didn't age. Keanu Reeves barely ages. Tom Cruise barely ages.
2004, still, you got to admit, possibly the best year for film.
I gotta look at this.
In modern times, I think 2004 has to be, besides 2019, obviously.
2004 films. I have to check.
Godzilla Final Wars,
because
Mean Girls.
Because you keep saying this, and I don't... Catwoman.
No.
Ella Enchanted the Sponge... Okay, fair enough.
Uh-huh.
SpongeBob the movie.
The SpongeBob SquarePants movie, obviously.
Yeah, the original.
The OG.
Exactly.
The real.
The actually good one. The Village.
Spider-Man 2.
The Village.
Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 2.
No, I can't. Did that come out in 2001?
Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 2. Keep scrolling.
The Girl Next Door.
Look. Wait, scroll left. Yep.
Yeah, there we go. A lot of bad comedies and one apparently good one. I've never seen Mean Girls.
One good? The Garfield movie?
Passion of the Christ.
The Garfield movie?
No, wait! Dodgeball. There we go.
Howl's Moving Castle?
Dodgeball. That was actually a really good movie. That's actually a really funny movie. Stupid, but hilarious.
The Bad Punisher?
Garfield.
Yep, the Garfield movie. The most over-merchandised movie, too.
Phantom of...
I couldn't get through Dawn of the
Shark
Dead.
Tale.
Obviously.
No. 50 First Dates, actually not too bad. I actually do like that movie. Actually is a very fun movie.
Blade?
No, that's Blade no.
Trinity?
Blade Trinity, that's the bad one. Man on Fire. Weird. Man on Fire. Scooby-Doo 2.
Is that the one on the island? The good one?
What?
The one where they're on the island.
Scooby-Doo?
Was that the first one?
It's not. That's the first one.
That is? Okay.
That's the first.
I always watch that one. Shrek 2.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Oh! Prisoner of Azkaban.
Shrek 2.
You're convincing me more and more.
Okay, I'm telling you, like, you don't realize it because you think...
Incredibles!
You just called it Incredibles.
Incredibles.
Garfield the movie, Shrek 2.
Collateral, very underrated.
So yeah,
Tom Cruise is actually a villain in that movie, and he's actually no. Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx got an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor for Collateral, an action movie. When have you ever heard of an action movie getting nominated for a legit Oscar?
like a legit Oscar.
A legitimate Oscar? Get out of here, Mad Max Fury Road. You're amazing, but we're not talking about you.
I need to watch Mad Max. I feel like I'd like it way too much.
I haven't seen the first three. I've only seen Fury Road. Why can't I say it?
Fury, F-Y-E-R. Don't say F-U-E-R.
I've only said Fury Road. I've only seen Fury Road, and to be fair, Fury Road, in my opinion, is one of, if not the best action movie ever made.
Fury Road is one of the action movie ever made.
It's one of to be fair, that's always grammar-wise, it's always confused me.
No, I love whenever people like Morbius is one of the most movies ever made.
One of the most movies ever.
That's like the best description I've heard.
It's one of the most movies ever made.
Morbius is one of the movies ever made.
That
has to be the title for this episode. Morbius is one of the movies ever made.
Actually, no. In honor of the multiverse, I actually did go for a multiverse level title for the episode. Show Slammers.
You wrote Slamers?
Nope, because Wreckers is misspelled for our title.
No, Wreckers is spelled our way.
Wreckers is spelled Slammers is spelled our way.
I think luckily because our show is actually called that, we won't be associated with anything else because of how it's spelled, which is kind of good. We're the RR, you know?
I'm honestly just sort of getting transfixed because our ambiance music is from the Batman. And I'm telling you, the score from the Batman.
Gets me kind of emotional. But not like
the Riddler's theme. Like,
not sad emotion, I just mean like, you know, I'm about to pump iron to this.
Gets you hyped.
It makes me want to jump off of roofs in the rain.
Gets you hyped. I'm going to get as jacked as Robert Pattinson, which is not really. He wasn't really that jacked. Let's be honest.
He was able
fit.
to. Yeah, I was gonna say he was able to crawl. He was able to like glide. Ben Affleck's Batman wouldn't be able. He would need a parachute, not a glider.
Ben Affleck looks like he could take on Superman. Robert Pattinson doesn't.
Robert Pattinson looks like he wouldn't use as much gadgets. He would just need thicker armor. That's it.
He looks like he could eventually move on to have stealth capabilities in his armor.
I think Robert Pattinson is the most stealthy live-action Batman we've seen.
Robert Pattinson?
Yes. Christian Bale's is louder and brighter and reflective. Think about it. Bright gold. His eyes glow when he does the bat radar, like the
I wouldn't call his armor sneaky because even though he hides well in the shadows, you do hear his footsteps, which does add to the
intimidation.
It adds to the intimidation, but not the sneakiness.
I think he chooses that. I think he has.
Absolutely, he chooses that.
I'm thinking he has like spurs. He hits a button and he has like a stomp effect that makes like there's a rubber seal on his boots that he takes off when he wants to stomp.
On the blueprint for his costume, the heel does have like a spur sort of sound to it. It was specifically designed for that.
Spurs make everything cooler. Let's be honest.
Wild West, man.
They're one of those things you don't have to be able to ride. They're the least gate-kept thing that is cool.
That, and I do feel like the dress code from the 40s, you know, like more specifically the male dress code from the 40s, where it was all suits
and fedoras.
It was all suits. It was all fedoras. It was all long.
Fedoras was like 30s and before.
Everyone had style and like a sort of formality to them.
Children were dressed like small adults instead of children.
Yeah, like that sort of style. I think I want it to come back.
It's coming back slowly with like cottagecore-y. What was the one artist? The album Renanon. What is her name? One of them went on solo here.
I'm blanking since I know.
Renanon.
Renaissance?
No.
Is that the word you're thinking
Fleetwood
of?
Mac, like the Fleetwood Mac era style of like button downs, plaid suit jackets and pants. I'm thinking more late 70s is coming back more. Like late 70s, early 80s was like peak social fashion.
I'm thinking like Untouchables, Peaky Blinders sort of era.
Yeah, I want to see more like what are those things at the edge of your dress shirt?
Cufflinks?
Yes, cufflinks. I want more cufflinks. You know.
Yes.
Master Wayne, you have to wear these.
You have to wear your cufflinks. I can't find them.
I want to be in the universe where cufflinks are, important. I actually want to put a either a patch or a button badge on this shirt because I want to get like the Star Trek, the Starfleet arrow.
The Starfleet, I think it's I think they call it a star even though it's not a star.
Well, it's a shooting star. That's why it's.
That is very true.
I was gonna say that's why it's angled like that. I'm pretty sure because it has the this shape. It's like a diamond. I call it a collapsing kite shape. Like instead of being like flat lines, they're like
it's like almost
Disney
an
sparkles.
arrowhead. It's
Disney
almost
sparkles.
an arrowhead.
Yeah, you know when Tinkerbell flies and she has like the sparkles chasing her. Disney created that exclusive effect. It was there. It was like pre-ILM. That effect was pinnacle because a lot of effects like lightning, sparkles, breaking glass was hand drawn.
So since we got way off topic, I said that my favorite movie or TV show that was almost made was Episode 9, Duel of the Fates. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite? What's your favorite movie or TV show that was almost made?
Boba Fett, A Star Wars Story. Because...
Before Mandalorian was a thing, that was going to be the thing?
The scrapped product of a canceled thing.
I'm surprised you didn't say 1313.
I was saying, the Boba Fett A Star Wars Story was the scrapped written material of 1313, a scrapped material of an Assassin's Creed-style Coruscant map. There's a little history gray blacked out spot, like you go through like the CIA's files and they have Sharpie all over like the important stuff.
Yes.
And they only leave the kind of interesting like keywords for stuff like this. It's like this we don't know.
Like you'll be going over the recipe for the best cake ever made according to the CIA,
and they forget the cinnamon,
and all you will see is just the word flour. The rest is just blacked out.
It's like flour, vanilla extract, water. All right, guess we're just gonna have to piece together this cake recipe. We're gonna have to get the other pieces of the cake going together.
I've actually been slowly getting into pie.
I love that's like my favorite little things. Like when you talk about wanting like that 40s era style to come back, I like that. I'm an old man sometimes. I want to read the newspaper. I want to have my pie and coffee at a diner.
I want to play stickball.
I want to play Wordle. You want to play Wordle? Hold on. It's a five letter word.
I want pie now.
Pie?
I want pie now.
We should. We're gonna get pie after this.
Yeah, we're gonna get pie. Anyway.
What's your favorite pie?
I've only had a couple since I'm getting into it. I've only had and loved pumpkin pie and pecan pie. And to be fair, pecan pie is like the pecan pie is like It's like the worst pie you can have.
Cherry pie.
No, I feel like pecan pie is more sugary.
Really?
I think pecan pie is more sugary.
No way.
It is. Outside of the straight up dessert pie, like chocolate pie and all that stuff,
American-blooded Americans love apple pie.
I have never actually. I can't remember having apple pie. No, I've had to have had it because pie for me has had to have come from somewhere.
Pizza. Your first pie was a pizza, probably.
Oh, absolutely.
I have a horror story.
Actually, no. I think my first pie might have been a cake.
That's cheating. Or a strudel. What is it? Not stroopwafel. ST something. It's German.
Strudel,
which is technically like
you
a
had it the
pie.
first time. I thought you were gonna go with it, but then you.
My first time having pumpkin pie. I forget how old I was. It was a Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
And I ran around the house screaming, "Are you people trying to poison me?" I've never been laughed at more in my life.
I like pumpkin pie.
I can't get into it as much. I don't even like pumpkin spice actually.
Have you ever had pumpkin pie with whipped cream?
No. That is the problem.
Maybe that might be it. That little bit of extra sugar to it might be what you need.
Maybe, but also even nowadays I appreciate slightly more bitter stuff, or like bitter savory. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So maybe like an actual meal pie.
Yeah, but cherry and apple, can't be beat. Also lemon pie. Lemon pies are amazing.
Never had lemon pie.
It's like custardy.
I haven't had a lot of pies, to be honest.
We gotta delve into the multiverse of pies.
The multiverse of pies.
Actually, pie and string theory are not that similar, really, because you said multiverse is a bowl, time is a ball. So
it's more like a big ball of wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff.
Pie runs in a circle, so I mean, you're still running off of that kind of logical math, science. We're very math, science knowledgeable people here on Real Records.
That's right.
Shout out to science and math for
said by a Ravenclaw. I said it. I said it. You're only driving home the facts.
I'm gonna drive you home and drop you off on the side of the road.
Okay.
You want to go see the rabbits?
Let me go see the rabbits, George.
See the rabbits, George. I want to pet the rabbits. And then he goes and snaps someone's neck. Yeah.
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 We're very intellectual people here.
I'm thinking.
That's why we have That's What She Said jokes, because we're very intellectual.
You know what? What if of Mice and Men? What if the ending didn't happen like that? What if he got to see the rabbits? What if
he actually got to see the PG, like the G-rated version of that story?
Just the good ending version,
like the ending where everyone's happy. He goes to see the rabbits. That's it. Nothing else happens.
And then everything goes fine. You know. Yeah.
It's like the happy ending of Requiem Without a Dream. It's only a second long. It's just the opening title and then the credits.
I'm pretty sure a movie with just subtitles. All right, and you get to read it.
You know, the happy version of Marley and Me.
I refuse to watch another dog movie. Even Dog had me scared for a minute.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a military dog. Mm-hmm. So you can't trust that.
Oh, thank goodness it only has PTSD. The dog doesn't die. That's cool, I guess. I mean, a step up.
You want to have a terrible experience? Watch Marley and Me while your dog is laying down right next to you while you're reclined.
Just start bawling my eyes out.
My old dog Selena, rest her soul in doggy heaven. My old dog Selena was just laying down, like chilling, sleeping right next to me while I was watching Marley and Me.
Oh no! Oh no!
By the end, I was like, oh, I know my mom was crying. I would be surprised if I can't remember my dad crying, but I would be surprised if he didn't cry.
Yeah, that I don't want to know, honestly.
I kind of do want to know.
No, I don't want to know another dog movie. Honestly, I just don't want to see another dog
Underdog.
movie. Like no,
you know,
Marmaduke. That's my favorite dog movie.
Because everyone's happy in that.
Everyone is so funny. They feed the dog peanut butter to make it talk. That's funny. That's funny.
Actually, no, they didn't feed the dog peanut butter. They just CGI'd the mouth.
Listen. I think for other older dog movies they did though, right?
The best pets movie ever made, 9 Lives, because the cat didn't die in that.
Man,
have you ever seen 9 Lives?
No.
Awful movie.
Is that thunder? That sounds intense out there. You hear that? It's rumbling. For Marvel and DC's Multiverse, did you want just like an overview of each of them? An overview of each of the multiverses. Did we finish up the polls?
We didn't finish up the polls.
We didn't finish the polls.
Nope. Because
we went on a pie trail.
We
started going in pi circles. Get it? Because pi is the math behind a circle. You get it? I don't think the weather liked that one.
We do have one last poll.
Let's hear it.
If you could remake a movie, which movie would you remake?
Ooh.
Would you make in your vision?
In my vision?
I want to say mine right off the bat because I have a hot take. Avengers Endgame.
Oh yeah, you told me about this before. I think actually.
Yeah. I hear that.
Yeah, I hear that. We're fine.
Okay,
we're fine. Oh wow! That is.
I'm parked far away too.
I'm parked pretty close, so I'll probably just drop you off. Here, you want to turn on guest 3 and just see if they can hear this? Yeah, turn that up.
Yeah, we're gonna see if you guys can hear that because that is some thunder.
Thunder cam. We got the thunder cam on.
Did
you turn my mic off?
No, I didn't.
Is mine? Let me see.
You just turned on guest 2. You just turned on guest 1.
Oh, feedback. Unplug that in. Oh wow. I thought that was a feedback from my mic.
That wasn't feedback. That was just the thunder.
All right, our guest star, the weather. A word from our sponsors, the weather. It keeps us indoors, keeping you indoors during. Wow, It's sideways.
It's been off and on all week, man.
Yeah.
Oh no! For the past couple, have you noticed that for the past month, every Thursday, it's been awful weather?
And then like up until now, it was like every Monday flurries, every every Monday flurries, Wednesday 70 degrees, Thursday thunderstorm.
Exactly.
It's only super warm because of the hot front that collides with a cold front and creates like
wow.
I was gonna say it creates those big storms because giant snow cloud meets giant heat wave from wherever, and it melts it. Creates that giant water wave. Water waves.
So
Tornado alleys.
but
I don't remember us being a tornado state. I swear that only happened like.
it only happened 2020.
I was gonna
2020, we started becoming tornado state. We started becoming a tornado state, and we started getting all the tornado warnings.
It was once we acknowledged, okay, everything like mid and west Pennsylvania, once past the point of like, what is it called? Around like Millersville area, like out in the sticks back there. That's like a mini Midwest where it's like full of nothing and also just huge like landscapes. Pennsylvania has a mini Midwest despite its size of like nothing nowhere. And now we're a tornado alley just because we admitted it. Man, that is rattling the window. That is intense.
Wow.
We're fine though. I'm pretty sure this is taking work.
Jesus.
I'm gonna stop saying that.
Yeah, stop acknowledging it because it just keeps happening.
It keeps flickering.
It keeps coming closer and closer.
So, what were we talking about after we delved back in? Post pie. We were talking about more.
We were posting about.
Oh, the street lights are flickering. That's cool.
Oh, good.
Oh, it's because when the lightning strikes, it thinks the sun is back, so they turn off because the solar sensor goes off. That's funny. That's kind of funny.
It's kind of funny until I realize that I'm parked very far away and the lightning strikes are getting closer and closer.
I'm like right outside the door. I'm fine. Also,
yeah, you're fine.
I found out the car doesn't float. It can go through water with one-wheel drive too, which I think is pretty impressive.
Because you had to drive.
As we were saying,
I'm scared.
You're fine. You're fine.
I'm scared. Natural disasters are like my biggest fear.
Roller coasters and no, just roller coasters really. I only dislike me in another universe is invincible because I'm not scared of roller coasters. I only have one fear. Like I have climbed in storms too. I've climbed trees. I've fallen off cliffs, not big cliffs, like falling down hills.
I can think of nothing more terrifying than being stuck on a boat in the middle of the ocean as a giant wave comes closer and closer and closer.
Do you want to watch freight ship videos?
No!
In winter on the ocean.
No!
Snow sits on top of water sometimes. So I'm like, I look at the screen to look away from the window, and it's raining and lightning in the video. That's funny. Man,
I'm scared.
Rumbling.
I'm legit scared.
To all my Attack on Titan fans, how about that rumbling? Am I right?
Okay, so anyway,
back to the multiverse.
if you could remake a movie in your image, what would you remake? And I said Avengers Endgame.
Really, I'm riding off a little bit what you said because I also agree with this. Duel of the Fates. Duel of the Fates script. I want to adapt that and include a lot of the aspects because you can't just do callbacks with nothing to behind them to push them. Like you bring someone back, you have to say like, okay, X, Y, and Z happened. It fills in a lot of the big gaps because of how it's 19 years, right?
Yeah.
Between the end of the original trilogy and the sequels.
The sequels. That's more than 19 years, man.
Oh, it's 19 years between prequels and original trilogy, and then how many years after Return of the Jedi? It's got to be. Time between Return of the Jedi.
No, it's less than 19 years for the gap between original trilogy and prequels.
And Force Awakens.
That happened 10 years. The gap between
30 years after Return of the Jedi. I want to know where and what happened. I know they chose such a big jump because a lot of the original trilogy actors aged. Unfortunately, it turns out people do age.
Yeah.
Unlike before 15.
Unlike Paul Rudd.
Jared Leto. Paul Rudd and Jared Leto are only 3 years apart. They're in their 50s. Jared Leto is 50. Ben Affleck is 50.
I mean, you want to get scared? Samuel Jackson and Bill Murray are the same age. Don't do drugs, kids. You'll end up like Bill Murray.
I think Tom Hanks aged correctly.
Tom Hanks? Yeah. Because
Like, he didn't, like, wrinkle. He's not, like, old, but he's not, like...
that's why he's America's dad.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks for VP.
For vice president?
Yes.
Under what president?
Chris,
Kanye. Kanye,
I was about to say-
2024.
what's Dwayne Johnson? I was about to say Chris Rock, but I was like, no, it has to be The Rock. It
Dwayne
has to
Johnson
Rock.
would be fun and hard to disagree with, as long as he doesn't do anything like,
Gives Putin the eyebrow, and Putin calls everything off.
every time when you see a video of the eyebrow raise, like the Vine boom is attached now all the time, unless it's a still image, and even then, there's got to be some sort of sound attached every time too. So it's just like
Going back to Multiverse, going back to Avengers Endgame remake, if I personally were to remake Avengers Endgame, there would be no 5-year gap. We would stay with the original Thanos. Like Thanos from Infinity War that was killed off in the first 20 minutes of Endgame. We would stay with that Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time travel plot would happen and all that stuff, but Thanos would be alerted to it by Silver Surfer.
Ooh.
And by the end of the movie, it would be revealed that Silver Surfer was working with Galactus the whole time, because by wiping out half of all life in the universe, Thanos limited Galactus's food supply.
I have a similar thing to that, actually. Anything else for your outcome?
Nebula would kill Thanos at the very end with the gauntlet, comic book style.
Mm-hmm. Wait, who would?
Nebula
would
kill
she
Thanos.
kind of deserved to have that.
Exactly.
Tony, I get it.
She
but
was
Nebula
ripped apart
rebuilt
her entire life.
to put up with someone who didn't hate her, but they were just. It's like they were both put in like a chicken fighting cage. Like that and dog fighting. They put them in a cage. They shake it repeatedly until they get aggressive and hurt each other.
Yeah.
She's a dog fight victim, basically.
Yeah. And throughout like the whole movie, Thanos would be like going through the timeline, and it would be, and unlike the actual Endgame, it would be like simple cause to effect, because it's simple. It's simple. You don't have to overcomplicate it. Just go simple. Cause, effect. Mm-hmm. Cause, effect. And Thanos would be going through the timeline, stopping the Avengers from getting the Infinity Stones. And as he would be doing so, he would be getting more and more aggressive. At first, he would go to Captain America and try to convince him, stop it. Just live in my universe for like a solid year. You will see. And as he gets closer and closer to the climax, he starts getting more and more aggressive, starts getting more and more violent.
He becomes Mad Titan, not Nomad.
Exactly.
Instead of opposite, where he starts out Mad Titan, but once Infinity War comes around, he tries to act more nomadic and like a monk. Like, I'm simply trying to undo the horrors of Mal control.
Exactly. And on Vormir, there's an entire battle between like Hawkeye, Black Widow, and Captain America and Captain Marvel versus Thanos and the armory that he's created with the Reality Stone.
Also, the fact that we never saw Steve interact with Red Skull, despite him being the one who goes back and fixes everything. Like jump, mm-hmm. He does the jump like Deadpool, basically. Yeah. But we never see him interact with the reason that he is where he is.
And along with that, wouldn't it be awesome if, to spread his forces along the timeline to stop the Avengers even faster, using the Reality Stone and the Soul Stone, he brings back a couple snapped members of the Avengers and has them work for him.
Like with the Soul Stone, kind of to get a hold of their mind.
Like he brings back like Doctor Strange and someone else.
Oh, that'd be cool. Like that would be scarier because he would be unhinged. Like in No Way Home, he was literally just like, "Stop, Peter, stop. Okay. And then we trippy dimension trick. Nothing's actually happening. I'm just punching you, but you're confused."
And I feel like in Multiverse of Madness, we're gonna get one unhinged Doctor Strange after another
because of the What If Strange. similar to that. What is he? What is his name? Strange Supreme.
Supreme Strange.
Supreme Strange. My apologies. Similar to what you say for Endgame, I say for Eternals because that Celestial looked like Galactus. He even had the buttons running down his quote unquote shirt, his suit, whatever, his chest. Like he had like the like the 4-button jacket. The way that it was also phrased, they pop out of planets and use the planet as an egg, pretty much, where they bore out the inside and crack through it like a chicken coming out of an egg. You have these Celestials. You introduce the brother of Thanos, who is a Celestial, but not those kinds of Celestial.
He's a Celestial, but not a Celestial.
He's not a. He's an organic Celestial, not a inorganic. Because the Eternals that we saw were inorganic.
Is he a Titan? Is what he's called a Titan now?
He's a Celestial Titan, not a Mad Titan. Because Thanos was technically a Celestial and a Titan. No, Thanos was hard Titan, not Celestial. You can punch like a Celestial, you can't take a punch like a Celestial. Captain Marvel is closer to a Celestial because she can fight through space like that.
Well, technically, she's more of a mutant.
Yeah, but
technically, she's the MCU's first mutant.
I think mutants have to be genetic specific usually.
Yeah,
but on Earth experimentation.
But after the whole explosion with what was it? The
plane, the experimental plane.
The Tesseract. It was like the whole thing with the Tesseract. It sort of mutated her cells and she became super.
Okay, so she's a mutant Celestial, not a Titan Celestial.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or maybe mutant Titan because she's not demigodish. She's kind of demigodish.
She's a demigod.
Yeah, she's a demigod at this point.
I mean, she didn't age from the 90s to the 2020s.
Yeah, so she is demigod Celestial.
Yeah.
What did I call her? Not just Celestial, but mutant Celestial. She is a demigod mutant Celestial. Steve kind of leaned towards mutant, not Celestial, but mutant Titan. I say Steve is more Titan because he is still human. Mm-hmm. Like, he is still more organic. His aging is a factor of his genetics at this point, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Or lack thereof. I'm trying to think, though. Thanos' brother being introduced. I replaced that with Silver Surfer. You can save Thanos' brother for later on, or tease both of them, like they both come in at the same time for whatever reason. That Celestial, who is the stopping point because the last one was stopped, I say he was too passive at first. He acted as a force with a voice, not a character. Because he was still an idle part of the environment. He wasn't really one-on-one. He was just kind of outspoken to each of the Celestials, but only to the Celestials.
Yeah.
He's more like a factor of their conscious that won't reveal itself to them. The way that we see him kind of eroding, I would want that to play into him actually being Galactus. But we don't see him as Galactus yet. You know how he can like move at will. He can just blink away. Mm-hmm. He can interact close to the planet without causing massive change unless he directly touches it, because he is super old, super experienced. He knows he can get close to the planet enough to not destroy it, unlike the one who is very young. We see his hand come out. He's trying to reach out of the planet.
Which, going off of that, is there just forever a dead Celestial corpse frozen in Earth?
Yeah, I feel like the plot of that was used in Steven Universe also, actually. Very, very similar. Kind of immortal rock being birthing itself out of the planet, and the people...
Wait a minute! Cersei could have just turned him into gold and would have solved the Earth's economic situation for the next thousands years. Thousands.
Yeah, actually, because a gold shortage would be like one of the first things, especially even right now.
Instead, she just turned it to stone.
I think that would actually cause less issues because the gold could melt at the core and then leak through the crust out of the ocean and cause an even worse event, like a gold volcano. Think about it. You can't break down a gold volcano. So magma gold sounds cool. Could work. Might not. Don't know. But that's the old red Celestial who's been there. Him becoming
Galactus.
Yes, him becoming hungry at this point because he knows, I can't end now. Because he will feed...
I just got something.
I'm saying he will feed off of the planet. He will try to feed off of the planet the way the dead Celestial who's supposed to come after him. So imagine he starts consuming the new one after him.
I just got something.
Let's hear it.
What if in the MCU, the their version of Galactus and the Silver Surfer. Galactus is a Celestial like the ones we see in the MCU. The Silver Surfer is his own version of an Eternal, and he doesn't have like the full equipment to make his own actual Eternal, and that's why he looks silver and doesn't look humanoid.
Because he was made, not formed.
Exactly. He is made for.
He was like 3D printed, not grown.
He's made for function, not form.
Kind of like how we can 3D print meat, we can 3D print plants, and we don't have to grow a plant, we don't have to raise an animal, we can just have just those cells that we need. So he kind of like mechanically tries to adapt it to his own. So he creates the Silver Surfer, and so he accidentally makes the Silver Surfer like the best Celestial, not Celestial,
The best Eternal.
Sorry.
Like, did we just predict how they're going to introduce Silver Surfer?
To a degree,
because that seems like the logical way to introduce Silver Surfer now with the Eternals.
You're recording, right? So now we have evidence that we can sue.
Yeah, we can sue Disney if we want to.
But then they go into like Photoshop and they just reprint the date that they wrote their scripts. So it's like,
absolutely.
no, we had it the day before you did your episode. So you actually copied this. Also, you leaked it. So now we can sue you for taking.
And along with that, while we're on the subject of the multiverse and Marvel, how do you think, because Kang has been confirmed to be in Ant-Man and the Wasp, the new Ant-Man Quantumanium, how are they going to do that? Because Kang is like the big Marvel villain, and he's going to be like officially introduced film-wise in Ant-Man.
Think about it. He probably can become giant. I assume he's got like those unnatural, scary Norse mythology level powers, probably as Kang.
Unless we see like
he's gonna cross
this universe, like Prime Marvel Universe's version of Kang, and the rest we see is variants of him.
I think they're gonna do some sort of a linear wipeout where he like genocides his variants. You know, because that's what he did over time. He was like, there's only one now, and it's me, and I had to do the horrible thing, so there's only me, and I'm trying to make this as balanced and controlled as possible. Not Thanos balanced, but like no more evil Kang variants. So I wiped them all out. You get rid of me, it's gonna come back, and there's gonna be a Kang war, like until one Kang dictator rules over them all, which happens now. Ant-Man, I think he's going to shrink into another universe. He's literally going to pass through strings, I think.
What if the Kang we see in the new Ant-Man movie, what if he is just a normal guy, just a good guy, just an average person trying to do his best, and at the very end, like this saga's equivalent of Infinity War, at the very end, when the big evil Kang wipes out all the variants, we get an emotional death for the Prime Universe Kang, who has been nothing but good and decent.
And like we slowly just see what he was trying to do the entire time, and if they pull the rug out from under us, I will applaud.
Yeah. The amount of possibilities when it comes to the multiverse, especially in terms of fiction and possibly even reality, is mind-altering.
Yeah, what we can conceive through our ideas and what can actually happen is impressive. Not a cop-out. I just want to nail this in. This is, when it's used as a cop-out, it kind of...
DCEU.
Man, that's more like mishandling of your properties, so you cop out by saying, well, it only happened in this time. Like, well, come on, don't...
Batman, we're not doing anything in that universe since the Batman is... It's Earth 2. Yeah, that's it.
You did a crossover last week, bro. We saw it.
No, we didn't. That was Earth 40.
I literally saw the Daily Planet on a wall at some point. There was a Daily Planet newspaper. Metropolis is right across the water. You know this, right?
Actually, I did see like a video. Zack Snyder confirmed this in Watchmen. Like there is do you know the Watchmen? Like the opening is this big montage of how the superheroes have integrated throughout the 20th century. There is actually footage. It's actually been confirmed by Zack Snyder that one of the people that one of the superheroes is punching is the killer of Bruce's parents.
Joe Chill?
Yeah. the person who I think it's the first Night Owl. I think that's the first Night Owl. The person he's punching in the opening montage is Joe Chill. And
No way.
that's why Batman never happened in this universe.
Oh, wait. So Joe Chill gets taken out, KO'd before anything could happen?
Exactly. And there are two people we see in the background of the shot, a man and a woman.
That's I see. That's actually really interesting. Wait, so Watchmen is a different universe though?
Yep.
Like, even though it's Zack Snyder?
Correct.
It's Zack Snyder's other universe.
It's Zack Snyder's universe before he started getting really involved.
Zack Snyder's Watchmen, not Zack Snyder's EU.
Exactly. And for the record, Zack Snyder's Watchmen has so many cuts. It has so many different versions. There's the regular version, there's the director's version, and then there's the Ultimate Edition.
So we have Zack Snyder's Multiverse.
Exactly.
Is what you're telling me.
Which in my opinion, Watchmen director's cut, best version. Just stop there.
I might have to see this.
I went on a Blu-ray.
We might have to do a watch night for that.
Yeah. So with this said, we've gone through all of our polls and we've only got like a couple minutes left. So is there anything like you want to get off your chest about Multiverse?
I feel like we nailed the big things. I really hope everyone understood like most of our explanations for its legitimacy now. I just say it was a hard thing to introduce now, and when the big guys managed to actually get it to a wide audience, we managed to actually not just Earth level threat, the universe level threat, space level threat.
Now that's an Avengers level threat.
That sounded a lot better in my head. Like, come on. Cop-outs like those are problematic. Keeping a conflict on the level of the character, not some abstract environmental thing because we know it's always going to come back because you can't destroy the Earth yet. Not this Earth. So if you want to do some crazy awesome like what if event, that's awesome. That is also why we get to explore things that we might as well otherwise never seen. Such as, I don't know, CW I think is probably that idea of a Batman, especially amazing seeing Kevin Conroy in live action.
Yes.
The idea of, Bruce Wayne can afford to keep walking, but he can't walk by this point, let alone be Batman again. That is an amazing thing to explore. Flash should have stopped at season 3. Just saying.
I think Flash. I don't think Flash should have. Should
have been a hiatus. Should have a big hiatus.
The Flash is so interesting because I don't think there was a point where they should have stopped. I think there was a point there where they should have been canceled.
Ooh.
Because there was a point where the writing got so bad, there was no coming back. I think it's like season 4, I want to say. Around the time where, I think it's the season where they introduced, maybe Nora? Maybe the season where they introduced Nora, or the season where they introduced the Thinker as the big bad, and the Thinker's plan was absolutely awful.
I think also...
His whole plan was to make the world stupid. That's it.
I think decanonizing and recanonizing can get really stale, methodically predictable. But Star Wars EU having its own thing going for it, if we could see what ifs for that, not Visions was kind of a what if, but it's more like a what if for the style of Star Wars. Like, what would the style of this look like?
It was a what if, but at the same time, I feel like if Disney really wanted to,
they could adapt this.
They could actually just say, "Oh no, this is canon, and this actually happened," and so in the gap between the prequels and the original trilogy, blah blah blah.
Like all of these things that we see, Cobb Vanth. Like the way that they brought Cobb Vanth in without eliminating Boba Fett's continuation by Mandalorian Season 2, a lot of these people that you bring up for new ideas, when you recanonize them, it doesn't delegitimize where they came from because you can still carry on that, well, in this version of this time with this writer, with George's pre-Disney Lucas vision, or Lucasfilm vision, there was a lot of interesting things going for it that we still can explore now because it's an option now. It's not just, well, you said it in this movie, so it delegitimizes what you said, the same way that I say, and remember our Aquaman argument? The events of Aquaman definitely happened in Snyder's universe, just not like that. Like what he got when he got the trident.
I think it happens in Warner Brothers universe, in Warner Brothers DC universe, not Zack Snyder's.
Simply though, Superman's suit changes. He has multiple suits. Aquaman's trident change. He has multiple tridents. He's a king.
Actually, no. Trident doesn't change.
The trident doesn't change, but it changes
His
location.
His mother's. Oh yeah, it changes location for sure.
Okay, so in each timeline, that sounds like a cop out because it kind of is, especially when you messed up your Snyder cut. You know, with time, you messed up your Snyder cut because you tried to Joss Whedon it, like the way that they did. Which, yeah, I admit to that. That's not part of my debate. My debate is literally the events of that happened, just not in the way that we saw them in that version, not in that timeline, not in that universe. You know what I mean?
When you say that, I'm actually going back to your argument in our Snyderverse episode. Mm-hmm. And the more you talk about what you're saying now, I'm like, oh, I understand now.
When we were arguing about that event specifically, though, I understood where you were coming from, but it wasn't just but it didn't happen the way that it happened in that because it was not written to play out like that.
Exactly.
But it's a different universe, right? It's a different timeline.
What you're saying now is that it happened, it just, in Zack Snyder's vision, it didn't happen that way.
Or the trident wasn't in that spot by that point. Because each of the timelines has minor alterations, especially when the writer backing is completely different. The way that it's edited, because we don't see things in order all the time. It's like car coming towards the building, guy falling. They're actually not happening simultaneously because you're cutting between them. The trident might have not actually been like on with the statue on the throne by that point. It might have been with him, but we just see the events play out in such a way that we can see where they intersect when we see people interact. Things like that. When they don't have to be cop-outs, they can just be, okay, I cut it this specific way in this director's cut, in the Ultimate Edition, in the Extended, depending on how important it was to the events to play out. Because you don't always show lift, look, action. You just do look, action. It doesn't have to be all those in-betweens. It's hard to tell a story with that. So that's why I say cop-outs aren't necessary when you can maneuver around it and make it interesting.
Exactly.
That's just what I want to write off with. Yeah. Is like that. So I think you can agree as a writer.
Oh, absolutely. I think Marvel did it. Marvel did it. Marvel, in my opinion, I don't want to say it did it best, but it did it the most naturally because it set up the characters long enough and then introduced a multiverse.
Because it knew it had to go by level. You can go ground level, air level, back to ground level, because you're still on Earth, you're still in the atmosphere, sea level if you want. But if you go to space, try to go back to Earth, if you keep flopping between those, unless you're trying to provide more context, more characters, more places, but then you jump into universe level, you jump back down, boring tactical, we know about this, we don't have all the cool history behind it, it's just a bunch of guys in, body armor with regular Earth weapons. I want to see the space weapons. What space weapons look like? Kind of a cop-out. Everyone kind of looks the same. Whoa, big fantasy level threat. Okay, it's now like comical. It's like big mythological sci-fi event, but there was so much time to stack this. It's not just, boom, sci-fi, boom, fantasy. Okay, we're in the back to the front of the future.
It's not like you're going from Iron Man to Civil War to Captain Marvel and then to Justice, and then from Captain Marvel and then to Infinity War.
You know who could pull it off though? Jurassic Park to Jurassic World, because the technology of Jurassic Park was ahead of its time, but not unnecessarily over advanced. Like computers that have instant links to door locks because it's hardwired, that's futury, that's high tech, but it's not hover technology with dinosaurs. That looks absurd.
I do think Universal wants you to think, oh, no, it just went from Jurassic Park to Jurassic World.
Because that's how it played out. Shut up. That's how it played out.
What Jurassic Park 2 and 3?
No, they don't exist.
Actually, to be fair, I do like Jurassic Park 2.
I actually don't mind either of them, and I just feel like I was bullied for enjoying them because I had dinosaurs on the brain.
Jurassic Park 3 is just Jurassic Park 2 is actually pretty good.
Everyone just gets mad when the Spinosaurus wins, even though Spinosaurus wouldn't really fight a T-Rex for the most part, because they wouldn't really interact. T-Rexes were more like in American Northwest. Spinosaurus was in like swamp areas. There's just a couple of things that, like, you know, when you put them on an island together in the present, though, and like one isolated South American continent, I could go on.
Yeah, we could go on. So
Multiverse.
Multiverse. That's the episode. We got a lot out of that. I was afraid we were gonna get like. Well, to be fair, most of it was just rambling on about going off topic.
Yeah.
While still staying on topic. But yeah.
We got a little side story bit now with the pie.
We got pie bits.
Side stories.
We got thunderstorm bits.
Oh, we should call them slices. Our side stories are slices.
Wait a minute. Silence for a second. I don't hear anything.
I think the lightning's passed.
I think the lightning's passed.
Knock on wood. Cool. So yeah, I cannot believe we actually delved into all of that.
Yeah. With that said, next time on
Real Wreckers.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay, so
today, the last two. We got the last two today.
I don't think today.
Excuse me.
Today's late. Today's late. I've been up doing stuff.
Oh yeah, it's later than I thought.
Yeah. I've been.
You think we can get through one?
I've been reviewing movies all day.
We can get one.
I'm tired for another review, man.
Man, I've been tired.
Man. I had to review Supernatural episode, Moon Knight episode, Halo episode, 4 different short films for Diversity at Cannes, Birds, and then this.
I actually also, well, to provide another buffer, if you don't mind, like a tiny bit of internet research. I actually am trying to get something of a small guest bit going.
Yes.
It's kind of like Power Rangers, Godzilla, anime category.
I'm interested.
I just need to watch some Power Rangers. You know, hit the classics, hit the brain gym.
I've only seen, in terms of Power Rangers, I've only seen a couple of the newer shows. Like Power Rangers Samurai, Power Rangers Operation Overdrive.
I think I watched Samurai.
And I've seen all 3 movies. I've seen the original movie, I've seen Turbo, and I've seen the remake, which the remake is actually pretty good.
I want to see the remake.
The remake's actually pretty good.
The same way that the Tron Legacy was not bad, just like
the remake
wasn't as branded well.
The remake is for teens. It's not for kids, which they showed it on Nickelodeon one time, and I was like, no, this isn't for kids. This is for teenagers.
I mean, Clone Wars had genocide, and I watched it at 10, so.
There's sexting in that movie.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
Yes. The Pink Ranger gets her nudes leaked in that movie.
Wow. That is actually, wow.
That is it's a teen movie. It is Breakfast Club. It is Breakfast Club meets Power Rangers.
I thought only Cartoon Network pulled stuff like that off. Nickelodeon. No. Nickelodeon could be provocative. SpongeBob was supposed to be an adult show. Ren and Stimpy. Rocko's Modern Life. All right, now that I think about it, Nickelodeon can pull that off.
Yeah, sure.
They got some adult stuff.
Ren and Stimpy, to be fair, has one of my favorite bits where the act is like, "Shut up! I can't stand it anymore. The singing, all the noise."
I'm thinking of the sawing the log scene. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
We're not going to talk about that. We can talk about it.
Anyway,
oh my God.
What do you think we should do for next episode? Because it depends. What is your plans for tomorrow? Do you have a shoot tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Friday.
Yes.
Yeah. I got a big edit from 8 a.m. to whenever, and then from like 2 until midnight, I think, is a shoot.
Yeah, so you're...
Big edits this
So you're
weekend.
busy all day tomorrow is what you're saying?
So if I could forward you a bunch of stuff for that possible guest, because he's interested.
Okay.
I hope you're interested in, like, you know, it's the top, starts with a T. The genre is like dudes, it's like costumed fighting movies and stuff.
Superhero movies?
It's more like, I'm trying to see what is the genre called? Tokotsu? Or Kiryu? It's part of that genre. The Power Rangers fit into it. Godzilla fits into it. Technically, Ninja Turtles fits the same way because it's East inspired in the West. The way that Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers naturally go together. But yeah, stuff like that. That's what I want to do, or that's what I want to try to get going. Because more excuse for more Godzilla stuff. My favorite Godzilla movie also fits into that category because of the Power Rangers era fighting.
I feel like we can get into that later on when you like when we
got time.
So next episode, I want to rank our favorite villains.
Oh, like just of all time?
All time. I think we got to go favorite villains of all time. Movie, TV, video game, anything.
I like that.
We're gonna go favorite because next week Secrets of Dumbledore comes out. And
Dumbledore, my favorite villain.
Technically speaking. If you want, we'll get into this.
We'll get into that.
We might get into that.
Ooh,
But
a little like, are they a villain debate or are they an anti-hero? Are they an anti-villain?
But so next time on Real Wreckers, we are going to be ranking our 5 or 10 favorite villains of all time.
In everything. Movies,
In
TV, video games,
everything.
books.
We are just going to let loose, and I'm going to let my inner Slytherin soar.
My inner Ravenclaw, I guess. I guess because it's
You're more-
scholarly. I'm a Gryffindor.
You're more a Hufflepuff.
I'm a passive Gryffindor, a hype Hufflepuff.
Yeah, well,
Hufflepuff.
I mean, you're wearing yellow, so
Yeah, I think I still lean a little more towards Hufflepuff.
yeah.
I'm just like the quieter Gryffindor. But yeah, and you're just
You're more of a Cedric Diggory type, where you
You're the
can have
most-
friends, but you'll be more humble about it.
Yeah, I have a social battery, but it is a battery, which means it's limited.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that'll happen
Next time on Real
Wreckers. Make sure to follow us on Instagram on Real Wreckers. That is REEL_RECKERS.
And our TikTok at Real Records. That's REELRECKERS to stay up to date on all of our polls and for a shout out next time.
Now that we're back in our universe, we're going to end off with our normal theme.
Base level. We're going to base level.
Base level. We went Super Saiyan, now we're going back to base. So, until then, I'm Billy,
And I'm Dalton.
and you can consider this real
Wrecked.